Hi guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Today we are taking a look at my setup for October. October is here, believe it or not. Fall is well underway and I am using my new budget planner. Yay, yay, yay. I am so excited for it. So let's take a look. For this video, because this is the first month I'm using the new planner, we're going to look at October, and then we're also going to go back and look a little bit at some of the annual stuff I've already started working on, and I'll talk to you about switching planners kind of before the year is out. So let's jump in with October. Okay, so for the month of October, I am starting by taking a look at my monthly calendar. Now, I generally always decorate my monthly calendar in my budget planner. I don't really use it for anything other than tracking my bills, and I just like to put my bills on my calendar and visually see when they're due. So that is what this is. I have used a fall / more of a fall theme than a Halloween theme. I don't do a ton of decorating for Halloween, but I do like fall decor. So I have some pumpkins here. That's my nod to Halloween. And of course the oranges and the browns. I just love the way this turned out. It is so gorgeous. But focusing on my budget, two of my top priorities for October and November and December, for Q4 really, is to finish some credit card pay downs that I need to do and some tax pay downs that I need to do. Those are two really important priorities for me. So then the next set of pages in this budget are basically blank pages. And guys, I was so inspired when I saw these blank pages. Let me tell you, functionally, these pages are here so that this monthly can have can be standalone. The monthly starts with a dot grid, goes into the monthly, and then finishes with dotted line note paper. And that way, if you want to take it out and put in a date when you can or whatever. I saw this and I was just instantly inspired to do some decorating, and I loved it. I wanted to do the lined pages so that we would have a space, we being me and whoever else decides to get this planner out of my shop, so that we would have a space to take notes about anything that was going on in our budget, any things we need to remember for the next month. We just needed some note space, I felt like. And so I am using it for any type of notes, but so far I've put down some items that I know I need to remember for November, but who knows what else will show up here throughout the month. But as far as the decor, I love it. This is a great place to use your washi if you have washi that you don't normally use. Anytime you see blank pages without structure, washi is a great option for decorating. So I used some of my washi that I have from Live Love Posh. This pink and orange went really well with some of the Halloween stickers that I had. I think that book came from Live Love Posh, Retro Holidays. And so I didn't do much, but that washi put a big impact, and it just makes me feel so happy when I see this. Okay, moving along. The next part of my budget is my monthly dashboard, which is heavily focused on goals and what your monthly focus is. I fell in love with these pages when I was using the Work Plus Life. And so when I designed this planner, it's very similar to that. I have the Signature Blue planner. My budget planner is available in neutral, which is all black and white with gray shading, matte gold, and Signature Blue. So I have the Signature Blue, so I have some blue shading here, but that did not stop me from decorating. I decorated my focus side, loved it. Probably should have put a couple stickers over here to tie it all together, but I didn't. If you don't like the blue, then you can definitely get the neutral and you don't have to worry about the blue, but the blue doesn't bother me. But in my focus section, I have some big purchases. That's what I used this top section for. And that's typically what I use my top section for. So some big purchases that I want to make in October, and then just some things that I need to focus on. That's what this center section is for. For me, I am focusing on my Q4 financial plans, getting all that stuff built out, setting up my quarterly goals, and finalizing some holiday travel plans. So that's what my focus is. Big purchases, I am buying the custom planner from Happy Planner. The parenting layout, that is so that I can get ready for 2026. And then I need to get some new work shoes and new work dresses. So I am focusing on Q4 financial planning. I need to check all my bill accounts, my travel plans, budget, and my quarterly goals. This section I have decided to use for monthly reflection, so it's probably going to stay blank until the month continues to move on. So my goals for the month, I have 3 goals that I'm working on. My birthday travel budget, which is coming up the end of this month. My Christmas gift budget, which I start buying Christmas gifts. I've actually already started buying Christmas gifts. So I need to go ahead and do the budget so that I make sure that I'm buying things that are appropriate for my budget and that I don't overbuy for like one person, which is easy to do because I'm an auntie. I don't have any kids of my own, but I am a beloved auntie and I love my nieces and my nephew dearly. And if I'm not careful, I will seriously overspend for Christmas. So I have to really watch myself. And then my budget plan catch up. I just need to catch up. Basically, I'm closing out quarter 3. So I need to make sure all 3 quarters are caught up with their annual categories, their annual snapshot before really getting into quarter 4. And I also want to point out what I love about this page, and this is where I made a big change from what I was using in Work Plus Life to turning this really into a budget summary, a budget monthly dashboard. I love this monthly overview. It is just a very quick synopsis of your total income expected for that month and your total expenses. Now, I try to use a $0 budget method. That means I don't want to have anything left over. It doesn't mean I don't have any money left over. It means anything that is left over, I want to put it somewhere. I want to usually in savings or something like that. And so I want this to always be 0 or as close to 0 as I can get it. That's the budget. We'll see what it actually turns out being by the end of the month. But just adding this table here, love it. It is really, I think, I just love seeing snapshots and summaries of how my money is flowing throughout the month. I love that. Okay, so I set up my October budget. I am currently using the budget by Paycheck monthly setup. This planner comes with 2 monthly setups, and you can choose the one that you want. No matter which planner you buy, you get both monthly setups. You get a budget by Paycheck and you get a monthly budgeting setup. So I am currently using the budget by Paycheck setup. And I think what I'm going to do is use budget by Paycheck in October and use the monthly setup in November and see which one I like best and which one I'm going to use throughout 2026. That way I can try them both. So that's the beauty of having a printable. You can do that. All right. So I have my October monthly budget. Keep in mind, this is the budget by Paycheck layout. So I've done all my October budget, set that up. My weekly cash flow, I filled out the weeks, but I decided not to fill this in because since I'm doing budget by Paycheck, I don't think I need to do a weekly cash flow because I'm basically doing a paycheck cash flow. We'll see how that goes, but right now I left it blank. So then I get to my digital envelopes breakdown. This is where I list the digital envelopes that I am going to track for the month. And the way this works, really simple, is that I list the envelope name that I'm going to track. I list the spending account where I make the deposit because I don't spend with cash, I spend with my debit card. So I list the spending account where I'm going to make the deposit and how much I need, what my budget is for that envelope, basically. Okay, this is how I set up my envelopes. Then down here on the account prep, this account, if I have more than one, right now I'm only using one for all of my envelopes. That's what I suggest, especially if you're getting started. Some people try to have a separate account for every envelope, and I think that's where things get really overwhelming when you're doing digital envelopes. I would suggest starting with one. I have one account, and I call that account my variable envelope account. That's how I have it labeled at my bank. And so I just I fill out this worksheet to determine how much money I need to transfer in that account for the month. And of course, it needs to be the amount of money that I need to cover my budget. So I needed $525. I made my first deposit of $100. And so I have $100 in that account. Because of the way my paycheck falls for October, I won't make the rest of that deposit until like the first week of October. But that'll be fine because I only need $100 to cover my first week expenses. Okay, so then the next section I have goes into my paycheck tracking, because remember, this month is set up paycheck, budget by paycheck. So my first paycheck falls within October 1st and October 21st. And I know that seems like a really long time to wait, but just the way the pay periods fell, I don't get paid until like close to the middle of this time frame. And it's just really awkward, if I'm honest with you, but it is what it is. So out of this first paycheck, these are the bills and expenses that have to come out of this first paycheck. That's how you do paycheck by budget. You budget which bills come out of which paycheck, and that's how you track your expenses. So that's what this is. And over to the side, I have a little sticky note, and it breaks down my variable expense categories, because you'll notice that since I'm using my digital envelopes, I don't break down those expenses separately over here. I just have under additional expenses, I go ahead and I put variable deposits so that it covers this amount. All right, and then in the week, or it's not the week, I have to get out of that mindset because that's how I was doing my budget before. So for this pay period, I go ahead and I label my digital envelopes. That's what these are on the left. And I put the budget that I'm going to have for that pay period out of these digital envelopes. And so I just do it with the label, and I do the budget for that category. And that's it, or for that envelope. I also list the bills that need to come out for that pay period, and meal ideas. I don't know yet, when I'm filming this, all the bills that need to come out. I have not written those down, which is okay because I also have it listed here. Okay, so if there are too many bills to list here, I usually just list the critical ones that I just need to keep at the front of my mind. And I don't know what my meal ideas are going to be, so we'll see how that goes. I do know that my no spend, I want to do no planning supplies. Oh, my pen is skipping. I love this pen, but it skips sometimes, and that is irritating to me. So, oh well. Okay, let me go ahead and fill in my critical bills, and I'm just going to glance here to see the ones that I want to list. All of the bills are critical, let's be real. So it's the way I determine which ones I list on that page, because I don't have room to list all of them, obviously. Sometimes I list the ones that are critical. Other times I list the ones that I typically would easily forget, because I can be very forgetful. That's just what it is. So it may not be like a critical bill, but it's just something that I know if I don't write it down, I'll completely forget about it. And I think that's probably the approach that I am taking this month, except my mortgage. I don't ever forget about that. But things like 𝑖ONIS, that's my domain name renewal. I'll definitely forget about that, y'all. I know myself. That's something I would easily forget. And I thought I had something else. But I guess that was a September 30th. Okay. So those are the ones that I want to put down for October. And keep in mind, those are not all of my bills, right? That's coming out for that paycheck. Those are listed here, and this is really where I'm going to track them. But this is just a nice little snapshot, a little moment to solidify the stuff in your memory. Okay, so then I've set up my expense trackers because I'm doing a little bit of a different budgeting system. The way I'm doing my expense trackers is I am using one page front and back for my digital envelope expenses. So anything I spend that come out of these envelopes will be tracked here. And I'm using the second expense tracker for anything that comes out of my main account. So this is going to be more like my bills and things like that. And I use that for front and back. Now, if you were doing a cash envelope system, this would look the same. It really would. The only difference is you would call this cash envelope or cash instead of digital envelope. That's literally the only difference, other than going to the bank and having to pull out cash. So that's how it's set up for October. I am so excited to use this approach, to use this planner, and to use this method for October. I'm just super excited about it, to see what works, what doesn't work, what I need to adjust. Just thrilled to get into it. Along those lines, really quick, let me talk to you about switching planners, especially a budget planner in the middle, not middle, but you know, before the year is out. So that's actually really easy to do. Basically, I am not completing my annual goals right now. I will probably start working on them in October. But right now, I'm not like putting 2025 goals in this planner. This is my 2026 planner. Think of it as I'm just starting it like 3 months early. And a lot of planners do that. So these are going to be my annual goals for 2026. I am going to take some time to fill these out over the upcoming months because I think it's really important to put some time into planning your financial goals. I will be transparent and say I didn't do that last year. I waited too late to set up my planner, and I kept saying, oh, I'm going to do it next week or next week. And next week I never had time. And I looked up and it was March and I hadn't set my annual goals. I do not want to be in that situation. I want to put the time and energy that it deserves to go into my annual goals. So, setting up my annual goals in here, my annual snapshots, all of those things are going to happen over the next few months. So even though I'm starting this in October, I don't feel pressure to have all of this set up before October. The intent is to get this stuff set up before 2026. And I know it may seem like, how can you not have time? Well, let me tell you how you cannot have time. When December comes and everybody's trying to set up their planners and do setup videos, if you have more than one planner, you're having to set up, like me, I have like 4 planners that I use. And last year I had like 8. It was way too many. But you're trying to print new inserts. For me, I print my inserts. Print new inserts, cut new inserts, set up 4 planners, film 2026 setup videos along with your regular weekly videos, along with your holiday videos. And it's the biggest holiday of the year. For me, you usually have family around, kids are around, you're going Christmas shopping, you're having Christmas events. I don't have time to do all that in December. So that means I need to get started in November. Okay, well, Thanksgiving is in November. So you're going to have the same thing in November for the most part. Family, shopping, travel, and you're still doing your everyday thing. So that pushes you back to October. So if you're going to start this stuff in October, you might as well start it at the beginning of October. So that's how, and one of the main reasons I decided this year to just go ahead, bite the bullet, get this ready to go at the beginning of October. Okay, so, but to do that, so I don't do my annual stuff in preparation of October. What I did do is pull over my financial snapshot sheet from the planner I was using before, because I don't want to lose this information. This is going to be the same information that I complete throughout the year, right? It's designed a little bit different, but that's okay. I'm just closing out my year on the same sheet that I was using. That's the main thing. Out of that whole planner, I only had to pull over like 2 sheets. So I do set up my quarterly budget because this is quarterly, and I just will pop in a new sheet when the quarter is over. I do set up my category worksheet because my categories don't really change for year to year. And if they do, then I can just easily pop in another sheet, right, to do categories. So I've set up my category trackers. I will not start tracking on this page until 2026. I will close out my 2025 category tracking on the page I already started. I set up my bills and subscriptions. I do this quarterly anyway because bills change from quarter to quarter sometimes. Due dates change, things like that. So I like to do this at the quarter. So I will do another one of these when I set up for 2026. Debt breakdowns. Again, these are sheets that I would use now anyway. So I'm not waiting to use my planner. The only things I'm waiting on are really putting in my goals and doing my annual summaries, because I don't want to start a new annual summary sheet in October and only have 3 months on it. But other things, I use that now. My debt payoff tracker, my digital envelope syncing worksheet, same. These are things that you use every day. You can go ahead and use that stuff now. And that's it. So I only really had to bring over 1 sheet from my 2025 planner to keep my system going uninterrupted. That's not bad. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was a little bit longer than my budget videos typically are, but I'm so excited to use this for October. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you are going to use a budget planner in 2026. And I hope you have a happy week planning.